In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use of constants within C#. As you can see right here, I've declared a constant called tax rate that has the value of 0.0725. It is of type double. Now, why would I ever want to use a constant? Well, constants are a lot like variables with one exception. Their value can't be changed throughout the course of your application. They have a special use within your applications. Basically, as our little comment says here, it helps you avoid this concept of magic numbers. We could throw the number 0.0725 and maybe there's other values like 1 and 7 and 3. Well, those values don't really have any meaning. They don't have context. So if I were to take for example, within our calculation here and try to calculate the total, and I try to take my sale plus my sale times 0.0725, we can assume that it's a tax rate, but it might be something else. And so those are often referred to in programming as magic numbers. But basically with constants, we get some clarification that this is a tax rate that is being multiplied by the sale to actually derive the total. So it's considered pretty good programming practice to use constants whenever you have some fixed numbers that you need to calculate. Other times what you can do is actually store values maybe in an XML file that are variable. For example, tax rate might change over time, so you don't want to hard code it necessarily in your application. This might not be the best example of its use. However, there are times where you're going to need numbers that represent things or strings that represent things, and they don't always make sense without a little context around them. And this allows you to define them up front, and then the rest of your application can refer to them. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how is this any different than, let's say, a field where you assign values to it, like a read-only field? And that's a good question. Constants are a lot like fields that are marked with a read-only. As you can see, I created something called shipping, public read-only double shipping. And what I'm going to use this for is to also help calculate any shipping charges for our product after a sale is made. And as the little note here instructs is that fields are a lot like constants except for the fact that you can initialize them within the constructor of your class. So you can see here we have our public class other charges, and then we have other charges basically has the same name that lets us know that it's a constructor. So within that constructor we can set the value of shipping to 12. And that's something that you cannot do with constants. They are defined once in one spot, and you can't define them anywhere else. So just for the sake of taking a look at this example, we're going to go ahead and compile it. We have to pass in a value for the sale amount, and it gets parsed out and placed into the sale object, and then the total gets calculated and written back after we've done our calculations to it. So let's go ahead and build our solution. And then I want to bring up our handy command window and type in CS2311 to execute our application, but we also need to pass in a value. We'll pass in the value of 47. So our purchase was $47. We'll hit enter, and notice that with shipping and tax, the total comes out to $62 and approximately 41 cents. We have a little rounding issue there, but I think you get the basic idea. So constants are great whenever you have numbers that need some context, and you need to use them throughout your application. You can also set it one spot, and then you don't have to remember all the places in your application that need to refer to the tax rate in this case. So I hope you enjoyed this video.